Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearthstone. So today we're going to be putting the rogue deck that I talked about a little bit earlier, the Spellsword Rogue, through its paces. Just playing a couple of games in the ranked ladder to show you how to play it. And so if you haven't seen that video already or haven't looked at the deck, both link to the deck and the video will be in the description. So watch those first, and then today we're going to be doing some ladder. You'll note I don't have a ton of wins here at the moment. I've done a lot of testing in casual. I've only tested it very briefly on ranked ladder because I was worried that it wouldn't do well at first, but in fact it actually does quite well. So so let's get into it and see if we can contribute to it doing even better. So here we go. Essentially for this deck, the important part is learning sort of how to make certain crucial decisions, whether to remove things, whether to go for their face, whether to play more aggressively or play in a more controlled manner. And largely that's going to be based on the deck that you're facing. So hopefully we'll see some instances of that today. Okay, so Shaman is generally speaking one of the better matchups you can have with this deck. I am not afraid in basically any instance with Shaman. This is also a good time to talk about mulliganing. So this is a very scary first hand, and the reason I say that is because it's difficult to get rid of some of this stuff. Shiv is great against loot hoarders, it's good against totems that he will drop, a Searing Totem. Eviscerate is excellent against early creatures that are difficult. And Scarlet Crusader is not a 1-drop, but it is a 3-drop, which we'd be able to play soon enough anyway if we suspect having to play one of these. The only thing I'd really be willing to get rid of here is actually the Scarlet Crusader, and I'm not sure if it is worth that. So I think we're actually going to keep it, although I'm not very happy with that. It's not an ideal hand to me in any way, shape, or form. It's quite mediocre. Yep. And so we'll just pass for the first turn, nothing to do. Okay, and so he has passed it back. Now, there's a question here of what to do. We're certainly not going to use Eviscerate, but we could potentially actually use Shiv to get card cycle, to make sure that we have something to do. I'm actually not going to use Shiv. I'm going to dagger up and hit him in the face, just because to conserve the card a little bit more, and presumably he will play something with 1 health in the near future, even if that's a Searing Totem. It's just sort of more efficient. And that's not a Searing Totem, that's the wrong totem. You didn't listen to me. So there's 2 plays here, as far as I'm concerned. There is the easy play of the Scarlet Crusader. There is the not easy play of the Backstab SI7 agent. It depends on how aggressive you're feeling. I like the Backstab for other things. I could also Shiv and do it, but then I would not. There'd be no point. So I'm actually just going to play the less aggressive game today. No need to get hyper tough so early. He may put out a Flame Tongue and make me regret it, but I don't actually see a big reason to worry. And the Healing Totem negates my damage. Okay. So, this is a case where I could put down a Sen'Gen, and that's fine. He's slowing down the game, though, is the thing. And I don't like that. So, I mean, I could Shiv and dagger, but that's hardly worth it, I think. So, I am going to put down the Sen'Gen. I have many things to combo next turn that can get the 2 damage out of the SI7 agent, and we're just going to play it sort of slow. The key with the Shaman is to make sure they have no board control at any time, and this hand is able to do that, certainly. Next turn I anticipate using a Shiv and an SI7 agent, or a Backstab. Lightning Bolt, of all things. He's coining a Stormforged Axe. Okay. So he will be fairly overloaded next turn. for pace at this point, I am actually going to use the SI7 agent, I believe. He hasn't put out anything that matters, so I'm going to backstab this totem. SI7 agent. Healing totem. And then I guess what we're going to do is dagger for now. Shiv is such a nice combo starter, it's just sort of worth it that way. Okay, so we have an unbound elemental. Without much else, we have another SI7 agent. So, let's see here. So doing Shiv to his face and then eviscerating the unbound is not unheard of. You'd sort of like the Gadget Zan out to do that. But, I mean, because this is a bad turn for him, right? Yeah, I think we will do that to maintain control, and I'll get out another set of daggers. That's suboptimal, I think, but it's also not a terrible thing. Shiv the face. Now I could put the ogre out here, but I don't actually. I think this is the better play for the moment. Okay, hit him, get fresh daggers, and he's down to past half. Okay, so Earthshock. So the Scarlet Crusader's gone. That's good. That's an Earthshock not used for something bigger. And the Azure Drake comes out. So, this to me is... Let's see. We could Ogre. We could Gadget Zan Auctioneer, Shiv, and SI7. That is trading 2 cards for 2 cards. Well, 1 card, Death, for 2 cards, which is not a terrible thing to do. It does remove... I mean, it makes the board slower. I could just as easily put out the Magi and then use the SI7 agent and suicide him anyway and just have the same amount of board presence. In fact, frankly, that's probably the better option. Suboptimal.
Hey, lights out.
But I have more board presence now, and he doesn't. I have more spell power for the Shiv and the Headcrack. So this is good. And of course, right now the momentum is heavily in my favor anyway. He does have card advantage, but not for long. Gadget Zan, Auctioneer, and Shiv is excellent, and in fact we will use that here. Rockbitering himself to take out the Magi, okay. I would not call that an advisable play. Okay. So, if I put out the Auctioneer, and I use Headcrack, that's something. If I put out the Auctioneer and use Perdition's Blade on the Healing Totem, that's something. Same amount of Wolves die, though, and the same effect is on the SI7 agent, and I have less cards. So I think actually the thing to do here is to Auctioneer and Headcrack, if only to cycle cards better. So I think that we're going to do that.
I got the best deals anywhere.
Beautiful.
Hey, lights out.
So we'll do this, go 2 for 1, that's fine, and we'll just save my own daggers. There's no sense in getting hurt for nothing. And the question is whether he takes out the SI7 agent himself. He knows I have Headcrack, so I have a hard time believing he would. Speaking of which, if he takes 3 damage, I win. Just because Thalnos plus Headcrack is 3, and Shiv is 4. Oh, unlucky. The RNG was not with him. Okay, so I think I win. Let's see how much lethal I have. So, Thalnos means 2 damage, 4 damage, 5, 6, 7. That's a win right there. Okay, so, Thalnos, Tradition's Blade.
Here
Like so. He's like, that's fine, life is good, but life is not good, he is dead. So there you go. There's your basic run of the deck and how it functions. We'll play a couple more games, so stick around, but that's essentially how the flow of it tends to go. Okay, so Warlock can be very good for us or very bad for us. We have an excellent combo in our hand, though. I do wish we went second for it, though. So I'm going to aggressively mulligan here because I do have plays. Yep, so we're going to do this. If it is an aggro... oh, that's beautiful. If it's an aggro Warlock, we have a better chance than if it's a handlock.
the pleasure is
But and if it is a handlock, we're gonna have trouble. It's basically that simple. It is a Murloc deck, and we have Fan of Knives in the hand. Yeah. Okay. So this will be interesting. I'm going to play my second Urgent Squire. I have every thought that he will not attack these shields, because he's running a Murloc deck and wants to burst me down. So, we'll see what happens here. Okay, he is going to go right for the face. Okay. Now the question is, do we get a 9/9 here, or do we Fan of Knives? And I think we wait for the Fan of Knives, and I think we certainly do get the 9/9, and actually we can trade the Squires. So,
Glory to the Sindora.
that to me makes the most sense.
I fight. I fight.
So that's pretty scary for a Murloc deck to see. He has basically no removal.
Put this apple on your head.
Yeah. Sure. Soul firing me. Okay. Really like Thalnos. Yeah, so we're unfortunately going to sap this. And we're unfortunately going to shiv this. And you know, the 9/9 would be real good at killing him, but it won't do anything if I'm dead. So we are going to use it to clear a lot of his things. I have the Perdition's Blade for clear, which I will certainly use. Okay. Right, I'd really like a Thalnos. Okay, backstab is also fine. So, how do we go about this? I think we backstab the 3/2, we Perdition's Blade, the 2/2, and we hit the 1/2. I think that makes the most sense. Yep. Backstab, Perdition's Blade, and Perdition's Blade. Hit him in the face. And do we eviscerate him for 4? No, we save the eviscerate. Now, I'm not saying this isn't dangerous. This is very dangerous. Him being so incredibly... yeah, good, so that's why we have the eviscerate. Okay, let's see if we have lethal. We certainly do have lethal. 3 and 3, right? Fan of Knives and the SI7 agent on this. He hits me for 2 with that, and then 9 and eviscerate 4. I don't have the mana. That is a good question then. Okay. Do I have lethal? Fan of Knives and hit with the Perdition's Blade. And then SI7, his face. Or no, eviscerate his face. Right on. Okay. So we are going to hit him. Fan of Knives. Like so. And eviscerate. There you have it. So, now, I'm not going to say that wasn't a close call. We got down to 4 health. But you see how easily and effectively this can deal with things like Murloc rushes. Now, I got lucky. The Blood Knight is not a guaranteed draw. The 9/9 really helped there, but even without that, you saw the Perdition's Blade take out 2 of his creatures immediately in the backstab. That was just a nice example of how this can control Murloc aggro. So, let's try that again. That was really good. Okay, so against Mage. Against Mage, it's pretty okay. I would say 75-25 in our favor, usually. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this. And, the Scarlet Crusader is such a dilemma in the opening hand when you're going first. I think I will actually mulligan it. Just to try. See for something better. The backstab will keep, it's always good to have in the opening hand. Not 2, though. That's a pretty awful opening hand. Okay. Well,
The pleasure is mine.
here's hoping we're not rushing against, like, Uber Mage aggro. Well, there's your Argent Squire. Here's hoping we get a Blood Knight. One of these things. In the interest of getting a Blood Knight, I'm actually not going to pop the shield. Harvest Golem, that's fine. Yep. The other thing, of course, about not popping the shield, so I did not get a Blood Knight, I have my own Argent Squire. I can now Perdition's Blade and kill it easily enough. Yeah, and that's a good question. Do I... You know, we're going to backstab and Perdition's Blade the Golem. Just because it's a bit more of a threat. And frankly, because I really want to open up that Blood Knight. Very badly. If it comes next turn, then I get a 9/9, and it's basically game over. And if not, I put down Ascendant Shield. Oh, good lord. Where's the Blood Knight? Give me the Blood Knight. Ugh. That is so not a Blood Knight.
Here we go.
Fireball on the Sen'jin, okay. It's unfortunately getting to the point where we're going to have to deal with them. Oh, I so don't want to, though. Huh. That makes me so angry. Okay, well, how do we do this? We can put out the SI7. The unfortunate piece is that I can't really, I can't dagger and SI7. That would be next turn. That would clear everything, so we're gonna just put down the Argent Squire and I suppose I could always head crack now instead, because I'll be able to do the same stuff next turn, I just won't be able to attack with it. Yeah. Huh. No, let's pop it for safety.
This guy's toast.
That's fine. He can sack all of those and hero power to get rid of the SI7, and I suppose that's fine. Of course, next turn is where the Blood Knight happens.
Pain, speak to me.
Oh, okay. Watch. So this is where the Blood Knight comes in. Okay, that's actually superb. So, Shiv. Great. I'll take it.
Hey, lights out.
That is just fine. And there's the Yeti, and the 2 is for my SI7. Yeah. Okay. So, let's see here. Now, it's unfortunate, or is it fortunate? Yeah, backstab Yeah, actually, that's perfect. So this is one of those instances in where spell power really can come through to give you a hand. I'm going to put daggers on right now, and I'm going to backstab the Yeti, and I will take it to the face to hit her for 7. And now she has to actually earn her, earn the kill on the SI7. And maybe this is a Flame Strike turn, which would be pretty devastating. I have to say, I don't have any response. Yep. That's fine, though. She wastes a turn as well. I'm hoping for any minion. Yep, that'll do. I'm not going to blow the head crack, though, so it'll just go down without a battle cry, and she will get a head crack. And I will hit her and get myself a new set of daggers. Now, next turn, if there's no response, Malygos is a strong option. The problem is that she will certainly polymorph it. It will scare out a polymorph, though. That is the problem with Malygos, is that generally speaking, you can't put it on an empty board, and this is what I would call an empty board. Okay. Well, I can make it not an empty board and deal with it a little bit better. So I can sap the Imani Berserker, which I think, given the fact that I don't have easy removal, is not a bad idea. I can then Scarlet Crusader and head crack and hit her in the face. Yeah. Yeah, that's not so bad. I could also theoretically lose the SI7 agent, sap the Yeti, but I think we will do the previous plan.
For the crusade!
Here we go.
Hey, lights out.
Now, interestingly, if I get Thalnos next turn, it's lethal. Oh, polymorphing the Scarlet Crusader. Okay. Sure. Well, how about that? Polymorph blown on a Scarlet Crusader. Okay, so I think this is card draw. Again, you don't play Malygos on an empty board, I would argue. So I think we're going to Gadget Zam, head crack. This will absolutely scare out the other polymorph that exists, or she'll just clear it with the Yeti, which is also fine. I have Magi in hand, that's good.
Hello.
She has... oh, shit. Yes, well, not passing the turn is certainly one way not to die for a long time. Faceless Manipulator on the Gadget Zam, that's one thing. Okay. Fireball on the Gadget Zam? That is a victory, my friends. Okay. What is not a victory, however, is, what? 4, 8, 11, 13. So I'm dead next turn. What can I do to prevent this? Basically nothing. Yeah, I don't have a lot of tools at the moment. I can put down Malygos to scare her. Outside of that, though, yeah, it's not going to do anything. I can head crack her for 3 and get her down to 8, and I will hit her for 7. Otherwise, there's not much going on here. So I think this is, unfortunately, done. But, since it's done, we're going to go out in style.
Here we go.
And go from there. Always like to show off the golden Malygos if we're about to die. Yep, she's not an idiot. Yeah, well, that'll happen. So, 50-50 at the moment. Against mages, it's usually in our favor, but this one was a bit of a weird one. Didn't get the cards I would have liked, so that's fine. Okay, so we are up against Druid. Usually we are okay against Druids, so not a bad opening draw. We're going to obviously get rid of Malygos. I think we're going to keep the SI7 though. 1 through 5 is not what you would want, but 1 is good. So we will play this. Very good. Okay, back to us. Nothing really to do, so we're just gonna do this. The lucky thing is that we have Backstab and the SI7, so we can combo. But that, of course, is if he has creatures. Which he won't this turn. He's just gonna hit the Argent Squire. So I'd like a Scarlet Crusader. A 3-drop that does not... well, Shiv, okay. So, rather than dropping the SI7 and being sort of inefficient with losing his attack power, his battlecry that is, I'm going to Shiv him in the face and hope for better card draw. Yep, Eviscerate, that's not bad, but at the very least it's cycling my deck. The good news about Shiv and that sort of thing is that even if you use it inefficiently, like I just did, you can still get extra cards out of your deck quite quickly. Shiv is nice for that. Like I said, it's a novice engineer essentially that has immediate effect and actually does its damage. Okay, there's the Yeti. Okay, so this turn, I don't have to play the Senjin. I could backstab SI7 and then hit with the Argent Squire, which I think is not actually a bad idea, and then play my own Argent Squire again. In fact, you know, I will do that.
Ha, this guy's toast.
The light protects me. I fight.
There we go. Okay, yeah, another Yeti. So I don't have a really compelling way to get rid of him. So I think I'm actually going to be mana efficient here rather than inefficient. Since I have 4 and 2, I can play that nicely next turn, and I'm gonna Azure Drake here. Yep, sure.
Hey,
and we're actually just going to rush him because I can't kill it, and taking him down to 1 doesn't have a lot of value.
Where shall I
Okay, that was gonna happen. So here's your taunt. He takes that out for free, which, yeah, that's fine. So this is an instance where sapping the Druid of the Claw is not a bad thing at all. I think Violet Teacher Sap is a strong play here. I think that is exactly what I'm going to do, because next turn we can Gadget Zan and Eviscerate. I almost made a mistake there.
I am ready to learn.
Okay, there we go. And like such.
Hey, lights out.
Okay. Now this is vulnerable to his swipe to an extent. 2 creatures down. 3 creatures if he hits the SI7. All of them if he swipes now, which he will do. Beautiful. All of them minus the SI7, of course. Okay. So, Gadgets and Eviscerate is nice, but Senjin and Perdition's Blade is more efficient, so we're going to do that.
Hey, lights out.
Here we go.
There we go. This may well be an Ancient if he's being mana efficient. He also has Druid of the Claw, so Druid of the Claw Shapeshift. I know that, of course, because we sapped him. Or Black Knight. Yep. That works too. That to me looks... I hate that I can't put the Gadget Sand Auctioneer down. Because that would be a Shiv Eviscerate par excellence. That said, I could put down the Auctioneer and Eviscerate and then hit it myself. I take 4, but I'm not all that concerned about that. I save the Shiv. So we're gonna do that.
Got the best deals anywhere.
I am in desperate need of cards against him, so
Here we go.
that is a positive
Hey,
thing.
lights out.
There we go. Tough to say here who is who's in the lead at the moment. It looks like I have better board control, but I mean a swipe solves that. I have Shiv and I have Blood Knight, which are fine, but he does have a whole hand, and Druid late game is scary. If he doesn't play something to stop me, though, and that's seriously something to stop me. Yeah, and there's your Wrath and card draw. I was waiting for that to happen. Okay. So this is a Shiv and Perdition's Blade. I will still lose the Gadgetzan Auctioneer. Oh, that's so sad. Will I still lose the Gadgetzan Auctioneer? No, I will not. Ha. Huh. Well, gee, that looks a lot like a Miracle Rogue, doesn't it?
Here we go.
That was quite the turn. It can have some elements that are fun sometimes. So he's gonna heal himself with that. Yep. 211. Shapeshift. Or what's he got in his hand there? What's he highlighting? An Innervate. Innervate for a swipe.
My shield.
Defender of Argus. Okay. Sap would be real. Well, Sap would only sort of be nice. Okay. Huh. Let's see here. Full 10 mana. So the Magi and the Backstab takes it down to 3. And the SI7 kills it, with me hitting it as well. So that's 7 mana, and then I can put down the Crusader. Alternate play is the Backstab, SI7, and I hit it, and that'll do it. And Blood Knight and Divine Shield to get out the 6/6. Actually, you know, that might be better. Yep. So that does work, right? Backstab, SI7, and me. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Ha, this guy's toast.
Now,
Here we go.
I don't like this, because 14 is within range of Savage Roar and all of that. Scarlet Crusader, Blood Knight, and I'm actually going to trade, because I'm very conscious about my health. If he has Savage Roar and Force of Nature, I'm dead. And it's that simple. Not much you can do about that, unfortunately. If he does not have that, though, my chances of winning are very high.
What to do?
Very long time to decide, indeed. Swipe. So no combo. Starfall? Starfall on the Blood Knight? Druid of the Claw. How about that? So he actually doesn't have anything. Okay. So, how can we do this? Once again, I'm quite wary about taking damage. And so I don't really want to do it, but let's see how this works. If I do Ogre Magi and Fan of Knives, it takes it down to 4. I can hit it for 1, and then that's 3. So I'm then down to 9. And I hit him for 6. My other option is just to trade, at which point I lose nothing. I can put down both Ogres, and I hit him for 3. He's down to 8. So the difference is a factor of he's down to 5 instead of 8. I still have all my creatures. The 6/6 just dies easier. Yeah, I think that's actually stronger.
For Lord
We're going to do that.
Hey, lights out.
There we go. Now, again, if he doesn't have the combo, I'm in a strong place, and if he does have the combo, I'm dead. And he's looking at my minions. He's used both swipes now. He could Wrath the 6/1 fairly compellingly to try to draw into the combo.
Well played.
Ragnaros. Okay.
Shields up.
Ragnaros with the... Okay, that's a nice touch. Okay. That's quite sad. Never mind. So the reason I thought it was sad is because I can kill this with the Fan of Knives. Have a nice trade. And I win. This is lethal. Ha! With the head crack even, for the Great Justice.
Well played.
Okay, so we will sack the 6/1. We will do this, and for kicks, head crack for the victory. Here we go. So, that's that. That one was close. If he had had the combo at any point, then that would have been scarier, but not bad. Not bad nonetheless. Alright, and against a paladin. There you go.
I will fight with
Against paladins, this deck tends to be pretty okay. It's quite good at removing a lot of minions, which paladins are good at. What it's not necessarily good at is when they just have heals upon heals upon heals. However, so much Divine Shield makes life just so nice. Paladins don't have a lot to sap early, so I'm actually going to forego that. They do have a lot to Perdition's Blade early. I'm not going to Scarlet Crusader. I want a fast opening here. And that is a fast opening. That's a great hand. Nice way to get free cards out of recruits and still keep board control. Leper Gnome. Aggro Paladin. Well, well. Shiv to get a card. Not bad. Leaves me with an awkward play, though. I'm actually just gonna...
well met.
Hey there. We're actually just gonna put down the Ardent Squire. He probably will not trade it, and if he does, so be it. That's fine. Next turn I have a less awkward Shiv, and potentially a Perdition's Blade, if necessary. And perhaps it will be. The Coin Perdition's Blade is a pretty phenomenal play. Iron Beak Helm, okay. Fine. Yeah, I could just Shiv. I could Shiv and hit one for with the Argus or Argent Squire, that is. I could also coin Perdition's Blade.
So many options.
And take one anyway and just hit him for 2. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. So we'll do so.
I fight.
Here we go.
We'll talk about aggro, if you'd like to talk about aggro, Mr. Paladin. This leaves me with an awkward turn 3. It's fair. That was the downside to coining into it. I could have just shivved and kept the board open.
The light protects me.
There we go. Now we're hoping for a Blood Knight. Really? Well then. Well, okay. That's a pretty simple shiv. I'm not going to remove the shield on the minion.
Here we go.
It's 1/1 for now. And if not, we have a Shiv Eviscerate combo next turn, so if he happens to Blessing of Kings this, it still won't kill him, actually, to be fair. Divine Favor, okay. Yep. Sure. This seems like a strange Paladin deck at the moment, I have to say. Yeah, we're gonna put down my own.
The light protects me.
And, I am going to shiv the shield. Am I gonna shiv the shield? No, I'm gonna dagger the shield, I think.
Here we go.
Save shiv for something better, especially with Thalnos here. It can get me out of more jams than just, blowing a shield. Yeah, the turn 5 play next turn is Azure Drake if the board is stable, and Thalnos Shiv or Thalnos Eviscerate if it is not. Blessing of Kings, yep. Okay. So, probably, that secret is the Savior one, or Redemption, or, so we're just gonna hit it with this. Yep. Noble Sacrifice is what I meant. That's what I was expecting. So we're going to hear Thalnos and Eviscerate. problem.
Here we go.
Next turn will be a little bit awkward. Azure Drake or Gadget Zan is sort of a pain on turn 6, but so be it. If I, it'll depend on what I draw. There's lots of potential synergy to happen here,
Put this apple on your head.
including the Fan of Knives if he makes it good enough for me. Well, that's fine. I can still Shiv, and it's the same effect, and have the taunt, so I will. That seems a pretty natural play to me. And the backstab, well, I could trade that for a card, and I think that's actually not a bad thing, so we are going to do that. And when I say trade that, we're thinking one step ahead, of course. Gonna trade out the Thalnos.
Thank you.
Not bad. Next turn is less awkward with the Azure Drake, but the fact that there's Perditions and Fan is sort of annoying. Blood Knight would be nice. I'd take Blood Knight. Oh, he now has made it less awkward for me. 2 Divine Favors. Wow. So this is a Rush Paladin that's gone long beyond Rush at this point. Oh, that was really unfortunate for him. Okay, so Gadget Zan and Fan seems to me like not a bad idea. But Gadget Zan and Perdition... Well, okay, so if that's the case, then we're going to do Azure Drake and Perditions. Yep. And the reason for that is that I don't need to sacrifice my Sengen this way. Pop the shields, and hit the minion. And just do this. So there we are. I think we're in control right now. It seems pretty favorable to us. We're not too down in health for something that was probably trying to be an aggro deck. Even though he's got quite the card advantage on us, 13 to 15. Well, not quite the... But yeah, okay. What's it gonna be? He's got 6 mana. Ironbeak Owl. Okay. That was profoundly silly of him. He's gonna hit me. Oh. Goodness me. I don't like to label people as Dennis, but sometimes Dennis just shows himself. So we're gonna Gadget Zan here and Fan and take care of his board. That's the thing that I would have liked to have. Now, I mean, he could very well have lethal next turn. He really, really could. There's a lot of things he could do that are lethal, so I'm not gonna write anything off. He only needs to cook up 8 damage. However, he did make my life a lot easier by silencing the Sengen and not killing him, and instead of silencing the Drake. Reinforce a Harvest Golem. Wow. Okay, so now this is the question. So, we're in a good place. 11 damage is here. I don't believe I have lethal. In fact, I know I don't. So I can get a 6/6 on the table. I can get a 6/6 and the Ogre Magi on the table, which is pretty scary. That seems strong to me, and I can do some trading. Or I can get a 6/6 on the table, sap the Harvest Golem, and get daggers and kill the reinforcement. Maybe that's the smartest. I think we will do that.
For the crusade!
Glory to the Sindora!
The reason I'm willing to sap a Harvest Golem is just because it's so late game, and he hasn't played anything big. If he is indeed an aggro paladin, which it seems like he is, he doesn't have a lot of late game stuff. Again, he could kill me. 7 is not a lot. It really is not a lot of health. I fully expect to die at this point, but by the same token, what would he do? 2 Hammers of Wrath. That's certainly something in a Hammer of Wrath. Does he have a Hammer of Wrath? Blessing of Might will do it too. Yep, there it is. So nothing I could have done would have prevented that, unfortunately. So be it. That happens. When you get down to it, sometimes you just can't beat a one-turn kill. So, and there you go. So, I think that's the last game that I'm going to do in this little demonstration. So, a couple of wins, a couple of losses, but by and large, you've seen the sort of strengths and weaknesses and how the deck plays. I do not profess in any way, shape, or form to be a legendary elite player. I am, if anything, a little above average, but mostly just actually average, and perhaps even below. You know, take my playing style as a grain of salt, but certainly I think that this is enough to give you an idea of what you can do with the deck and how it plays. And I've tried to give you a survey of a bunch of different classes too that it can go up against, and so how it does against them. So thanks very much for watching. If you liked it, feel free to subscribe and like the video. Tell me to do more of these. I very much enjoy playing Hearthstone, and so I may well put up more videos anyway. But let me know if you enjoy it and if you'd like more. So thanks very much, and see you next time.